Okay, I'm ready for Metroid Dread. Woo! Right, so 3000. Hello? Well, that just happened. Well, here it is. Metroid Dread. The game started development in 2005 and again in 2008. Both prototypes were for the Nintendo DS, but were ultimately shut down by Yoshi Sakamoto. He wanted to create an unsettling, fear-based gameplay for Metroid Dread, but it was too hard for the DS to do, so the idea was shelved. The game started appearing in magazines in 2005, but was never officially revealed. Even had a small Easter egg in Metroid Prime 3 with the information of Dread near completion. So it was either in development hell or just plain cancelled. And that was mostly the case until a remake of Metroid 2 for the 3DS, called Metroid Samus Returns, was done with the help of Mercury Steam. Nintendo was so impressed by their work and knowledge that they gave them Metroid Dread to work on. And then, at E3 2021, everyone lost their minds. This would be the first new 2D Metroid game in 19 years, finally continuing the original story after Fusion. This game's reveal made all other Metroid games on the Wii U go up in sales, became the most pre-ordered game after that E3. Even Nintendo went nuts on advertising the game. And then, on the 8th of October, it finally released. Will this game be as good as the hype? Guess we're about to find out. Before we talk about the game's story, I feel like now is a good time to go over a bit of Samus' backstory. Basically, Ridley killed Samus' parents when she was a little girl, and she alone survived. She was adopted by a dying race known as the Chozo, and took her back to the planet Zebes. They gave her Chozo DNA and even the parasuits which they created. Remember all those statues that had the items? They're all Chozo statues from when they were on said planet. After a couple of years, the space pirates took over the planet and killed all the Chozos. Samus once again survived and eventually joined the Galactic Federation. Oh, and of course, the origins of the Metroids. The planet SR388 was overrun by the X-Parasites, so the Chozo created the Metroids to take care of the problem. Unfortunately, they themselves were also killer machines, so they had no choice but to leave them in the undergrounds of the planets. And then all the events of Metroid, Metroid 2, Super Metroid, you get the idea. So, after the events of Metroid Fusion, the Galactic Federation received a video file from the planet ZDR, showing an X-Parasite. To figure things out, they sent 7 EMI robots to the planet to pick up samples. However, all contact was soon lost with them. So, as the only one immune to the X-Parasite, Samus was given the task to go down to the planet and investigate. Upon arrival, Samus encounters a dark-looking Chozo who attacks her. After charging his cannon, a thing happens, and now Samus lost all of her power-ups again. By this point, your main objective is to get back to your ship at the surface by navigating through the planet. And that's pretty much it for the beginning. There's more that unveils, but I'll get to that later. And while I do think that it's weird that the Galactic Federation saw what Samus has done in Fusion and just went, okay, it's a bit of wasted potential, but hey, what's there is good. So let's check out the gameplay. Well, for starters, this is the best controls for any Metroid game I have ever played. Jumping is good, the wall jumping is so satisfying, everything. Even shooting. You can attack just like the other games, only this time you have this free aim mode where you can shoot more accurately and aim a lot more, well, freely. The only downside is that you can't move while doing this, and I feel like it should have been done with the right control stick rather than the L button, but it's still a blessing. No more having to get into position all the dang time. There's also this counter-attack that can sorta give you a bit of distance between enemies, but when timed right, you can give them an instant death shot straight after. They should have just straight up called it an instant death shot. I'm copyrighting that. In addition to getting more health and missile ammo, it's the quickest way to deal with enemies until you get more power-ups. You can slide under small spaces and even go into a morph ball automatically depending on where the space is. It's all just so good. I mean, it did take a while to get used to after playing the other games, especially the wall jumping, but I believe this is the definitive controls for a Metroid game. With the exception of the aim button not being mapped to the right stick. As for the levels, well, let's break that down first. Aiden the computer is back, and while he does tell you what to do, he never tells you where to go. That's all up to you. I like that. You're given a hint of what you're looking for, but you're still exploring, and that's what Metroid is all about. Good on you, Mercury. The map is so much better too. Rather than going for the grid-based map, it's completely... What's the word? It's better. There are colored areas to tell you which type of rooms are save points and other stuff. Certain areas glow to indicate where a hidden item may be. You can even see said item on the map once you find it, so you can go back later. In fact, the map tells you where everything is. Of course, once you go there. And there's even a percentage to tell you if you found everything in... Well, I can't say area or not because I was talking about the save rooms and such. Bigger areas? And you can also use a limited amount of markers to give yourself a guide of some sort. As for the rest of the gameplay itself, well, you can use the missiles to uncover hidden blocks, much like the morph bombs. There's a door that requires most of the power-ups, even a charge beam, which I still find funny. But it doesn't tell you what kind of door it is until you get to the required power-up. On top of the elevators and transportations to get to the different bigger areas, there are also these teleporters so you can travel a little easier. And there's even checkpoints before bosses and enemy areas, the latter which I'll get to later. These are so you don't have to go all the way back to try again, but they don't save your file, which is fair. And that's how I describe it all. It's hard and confusing, but it's never unfair. Not sure where to go? Try shooting everywhere and placing morph bombs. Maybe there's a place you haven't checked on the map yet. And sure, by the sounds of it, it seems like it's just gonna be dumb luck. But it's not that. Whenever I get stuck for an hour, I go to this place and I go, oh, of course. Once again, I'm not the greatest Metroid player out there, so take my word for it. And of course, there's the power-ups. What Metroid game would be a Metroid game without the power-ups? Everything from Fusion returns, along with some new ones. The Farrier suit no longer protects Samus from cold environments. That job's being given to the Gravity suit, which I guess gives it a bit more of significance. There's the diffusion beam, which was introduced in Other M. It basically gives your charged shot a wider effect. The wide beam from Fusion returns, which replaces the spacer beam. Forgot to mention that in Metroid Fusion. Sorry. The grapple beam from Super also returns, latching onto certain blue walls as well as grapple blocks. The morph ball comes with the morph jump. There's the cross bomb, which can break more blocks and help you travel across wide gaps or pit blocks. The spider magnet essentially replaces the spider ball and lets Samus climb onto certain blue walls. The storm missile, which, once the missile button has been held down for long enough, can lock onto more targets and shoot more missiles. And the spin boost, which lets you do a double jump. That becomes useless once you get the space jump. And that's all of the basic power-ups, with the exception of the high jump boosts and the fusion missiles which aren't in the game, which I can sort of understand. However, this isn't an issue, but it is weird how you don't get the morph ball as a first ability, and you don't get the screw attack as the last one.
Screw attack!
Well, I had to do it at some point. Oh, and I nearly forgot about the speed booster.
Rant Mode activate.
Boy, I wasn't expecting to bring this one back. Okay. Screw the speed booster! It's not a bad power by any means, and it controls well, but certain energy tanks and missile tanks that require you to do this shine spot trick, which is done by crouching to store energy and shooting off in a single direction. I wouldn't mind it as much, but there's like so many tricks and wall jumping you have to do to set it off in the right place at the right time, and you can't stop or else you have to do it again. These ones took me forever because I wanted to get all the items in the game. Oh wow, that was a short rant. Actually, since we're on the topic, the missile tanks now increases your capacity by 2 rather than 5. Which is small, but there's a lot of them, and there's also these missile plus tanks, which gives you an additional 10, so it's fine. There's also these energy pods that become a single energy tank when you find 4 of them, kinda like the heart containers in Legend of Zelda. And since I'm already off topic at this point, I like how when you collect the power bomb tanks before you get the ability, it's an unknown item. It's nice and all, but they really should have added the sound effect from Zero Mission. And then there's the Aeon power-ups. Aeon was a 10 in Metroid Samus Returns, but I still haven't played it yet. These 3 new abilities use up an Aeon meter that will go back up over time. There's the Phantom Cloak that lets Samus go invisible at the cost of her mobility, but it'll slowly drain your Aeon meter over time and eventually your health if you use it for too long. The Flash Shift that lets you zoom a distance at least 3 times, and the Pulse Radar which will uncover hidden blocks, which is super helpful. They're not much, but they're good. And that's all of the power-ups. Not a lot on the surface, but they're pretty cool. But then we get to the Emmys. Oh boy, where do I start with this one? Remember the Emmys that the Galactic Federation sent to the planets? Well, they've gone rogue somehow, and now they're after you. No problem, right? Well... yeah, no, they're deadly. Once you enter an Emmy zone, you will be on guard the whole time. There's 1 Emmy per zone. It'll be just going around, you know, scanning the area. But once it hears anything, it'll start to investigate. And once it sees you, it'll chase you, and that's the point where you'll start running. Nothing can damage it. No charge beams, no missiles, nothing. And they'll take you down in 1 shot. You thought the SAX was tense? They turned the game into Resident Evil. You can counter it before it kills you, but the timing is so tight that you'll just end up getting the game over more likely than not. So it's best not to chance it, otherwise you'd go... And each Emmy is more dangerous than the last one. One can crawl through small areas, one is even faster, one will freeze you. It's like, once you get used to the last one, stuff like this screws you over and you have to think a bit more. You've got to maneuver in every way imaginable since you'll be going through these zones quite a lot. Stop moving, try to go the long way around so you don't get trapped yourself, use the Phantom Cloak in a small space so they'll go away, whatever you can use. There is one way to kill them. There are these rooms that will contain... mother brains? I think? Guess it makes sense since the one in the first game controlled the Metroids. Just shoot, shoot, shoot till it's dead, and then absorb its power to... ew. To gain the Omega Cannon, shoot a stream of beams to destroy the plate armor, then charge it up, and boom! 1 down... Wait, I have to do this some more? Oh god! The thing is, however, is that you have to aim at the head and find some distance because they will still kill you if you're not ready. And aiming is harder than it looks, but to be fair, that could be just me. At this point, I'll be going over some story elements. So, because of how new the game is, I'm gonna mark this as spoilers. So use the timestamps on screen or chapters to avoid your pure minds. You ready? Here we go. Halfway through the game, another good Chozo saves you from an enemy by deactivating all of them. This is quite woke from the Toha tribe. The main bad guy in the beginning is Ravenbeak, leader of the Marken. Long ago, the two tribes helped contain the Metroids on SR388. They were going to destroy the planet to get rid of the Metroids for good, but then, yeah, Ravenbeak wants power, so... kill all the others! He planned to bring the Metroids back to ZDR, along with Cried Rope, since apparently the Torha tribe could control the Metroids. However, just as they were making preparations, it turns out that an ex-parasite disguised as a Markin was among them, and they spread, they killed, you can figure out how it went. Somehow, Ravenbeak alone survived and managed to contain the ex-parasites. But after that happened, Samus has already killed all of the Metroids. All was gonna be well until he had an idea. Since Samus had Metroid DNA inside her, Ravenbeak plans to use the Emmys to extract the DNA from her and clone the Metroids again. After that, he unlocks a path for us and then gets killed by a Chozo robot. Not sure why this Chozo robots, but whatever. After a while, you come across a room that contains said ex-parasites. After doing some gaming in there, all of the ex-parasites has been freed and has now taken over all the creatures of the planet. So Metroid Fusion all over again. Good job, Samus, you goofed it up. I really enjoyed the bosses. If I were to sum them up, it's like the game overall. They're all hard, but once you know what to do, you're able to do it. Although most of the difficulty was because I didn't figure out something that should have been obvious. But they're all really good. Shoot them in the right spots with missiles, try your best not to get hit, and when you're able to counter it, you go into this cutscene where you're able to go insane with missiles or charge shots if you have no ammo. And that gets you a lot of freebies, so never pass up on them. There's not one boss I can say I hate. Drago's good, don't make fun of me, I don't know how to pronounce it. Corpus good, Experiment number Z57's good, Kraid's good. Wait, what? What are you doing here? No, seriously, what are you doing here? How are you still alive after killing you so many times? If you're here, where's Ridley or the rest of the space pirates for that matter? And what purpose you have been here chained up? Or is this a different Kraid from its own species? I can't just say yes all the time. The mini bosses with the ex-parasite infected Chozo warriors are pretty cool too. They're identical to you, which makes sense since your power suit is Chozo technology. They can also be a pain if you don't keep some distance between you and them, but they're still good. The game looks really good. It's truly amazing to see how they've translated the 2D Metroid style into a modern console like this. The hidden blocks, the hidden areas, the water, the lava, even the items. Look how small they are. And the animation, wow. Samus looks so awesome, especially like when you can see her eyes. You know that all they needed to do was just to express her eyes, and that's enough. Her power suit, well, I like the new Omnitrix on her shoulders. I'm not sure why it changed at all. You can even see her old fusion suit back in the intro. Why is it different? Give us an explanation, Mercury. I also like the way the Emmys just crawls and everything, and standing up and... so creepy! The music... it's alright. It's good, just not memorable. The creepy sounds in the Emmy zones are cool. And that Super Metroid intro music... why is it so good? So, you've defeated all of the enemies, collected all of the power-ups, became the creative god of war, and didn't know how to play a Metroid game? Spoiler warning. Towards the end, Samus defeats the last Emmy by... absorbing its energy? What? Okay, so apparently this is because of the Metroid DNA awakening inside her. Adam tells you that this new power-up is the last thing needed to confront Ravenbeak, which he has located above the planet. Your objective was originally to just make it back to your ship. But now because of Raven's new goal and the ex-parasites all over the planet, thank you Samus, the plan has changed. So off to the elevator to confront him. Once you get up there, Adam tells you that the Torah Chozo DNA inside Samus was the reason her Metroid powers didn't awake as soon as the vaccine happened, and that you must also have the Markin DNA, and for whatever reason, Metroids recognize Markin as the enemy, which would explain the thingamajig with Ravenbeak. Adam then tells Samus that she's now become a danger, and that she should submit and offer her power to— wait a minute. Gasp! An imposter! An imposter! Should I keep this in? Also, turns out that was Ravenbeak's DNA that was given to her. And then a fight happens, and man is it hard! Even with all them energy tanks, it's still easy to die. Again, not unfair, just learn the patterns and you should be fine. But good gravy, does it take some time to get used to. And check out that arm cannon blast! Also, he has wings. Well, they do look Bud-like, so I guess that makes sense. After defeating him, or not, he says that he doesn't even need the Metroid DNA anymore because he can, I don't know, clone an army of Samus? I think that's what he was trying to say. But then... after the ship crashes down, a powerful X-Parasite takes control of him, and Samus shoots him down with this new Hyper Beam. Oh yeah, she has a Halo-looking suit now. That's funny. After that... saw that coming. She makes it back, but she can't control the ship because her hand will drain its energy. And then, an X-Parasite that has copied the dead Quasrobe, who then gives itself to Samus? And then she has control over her Metroid DNA again? Honestly, I'm a bit confused on that part. Was he able to control the X again even after death? I don't know. And then, the planet blows up. Seriously, what's with everyone on blowing up planets? And then, credits. And yes, I didn't get the best ending again. This is who I will forever be. And that was Metroid Dread. What do I think of it? Well, it's really good. I'd say the wait for the Switch and Mercury's Steam was worth it. The Metroid gameplay is here and better, the controls are amazing, it looks superb, the bosses are fun, the enemies turns it into a different game in a good but frightening way. It's hard but fair, and probably other stuff that I just can't think about right now. It's worth the money. I repeat, worth the money. But if I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little glad that I'm done with Metroid for a while. Unless 3000 turns up with Prime or Other M or something like that. Playing these games just like that kinda tired me out. But it was a fun experience overall. Before doing this, I had only beaten Other M, Prime 1, Metroid 2, and Zero Mission. I wasn't much of a Metroid fan before this, but now? Well, there are other games that I like a lot more, but I really enjoyed this Metroid experience. Oh, and I probably won't do the Prime series when 4 comes out, assuming it's coming out at all, but I'm gonna hopefully give Metroid a break. Oh, and some call me Johnny. If you're watching this, that joke is mine now. You killed that jerk, but I brought him back to life. Hey, thanks for watching. Sorry this one took a lot longer than I thought, but I hope it was enjoyable, especially compared to the other Metroid ones if I'm gonna be honest. Metroid Fusion wasn't really much, honestly, but let's forget about Metroid Fusion. This is Metroid Dread. Glad it didn't fail me, so that's good, and I am done with Metroid. Oh yeah, by the way, as of time of recording, I decided to buy Metroid Samus Returns, and it's alright. There's definitely a lot of stuff missing from Dread that makes it early-ish. It feels like early development, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm not doing a review on that anytime soon, just letting you know. I'm not doing more Metroid for now. And thank you for 3,000 so far for doing all this, and all of you for watching my videos. And yeah. Oh, this part isn't over yet, by the way, but there's like 3 reviews left, hopefully, before I can finish the whole thing for Christmas. Yeah. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Share this a lot. Please share this with everyone you know. If you know this person down the street, share this video. And also, subscribe, I guess. I don't know. And if you want to support me even further, you know, like ultra fan, Patreon, I guess. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye! Oh, and Twitter.